Now, for another expert analysis on the summit, we're going to connect with Justin Hastings, who is an associate professor in international relations and comparative politics at the University of Sydney. Hello, Professor.
Hello.
All right, so expectations are that the two leaders will reach some kind of a deal tomorrow during their summit, and eyes are on whether that deal would be quote-unquote big or small. So what are your thoughts on this?
I think they might have more high-flying statements about intent. But one thing to remember is that when you get down to the nuts and bolts of negotiations with North Korea, it's always excruciating, it's always drawn out, right? So in that sense, they might have high-flying statements, but the actual nuts and bolts they mention in any statement they have will probably be sort of small deals, things that North Korea can give up and things that the U.S. can give up.
All right, now I think we could say that the first North Korea U.S. summit focused more on reaching a mutual agreement to start the ongoing peace process. But now this time around, what kind of practical steps can we expect from the two sides?
Well, I think you can expect North Korea to offer something, maybe a small step, and the U.S. to offer something. If we were to think, well, what could they offer? The U.S. would want something that North Korea does that would be irreversible on the steps to denuclearization, maybe blowing up one of their declared nuclear facilities, for example. And then North Korea would want something that the U.S. could not easily walk back. So, for example, maybe giving up one of the sanctions, but not necessarily all of them. We have to remember the sanctions were phased in, and they could be phased out. And the sanctions that were most recently put in place are ones that are actually relatively easy for the U.S. to sort of give up if they wanted to.
Now, Vietnam's economy is actually being held up by the U.S. as an example for North Korea to follow if it gives up its nuclear weapons. And North Korean leader Kim Jong-un is expected to spend some time to check out Vietnam with his eyes on the country's economic development. So what can we expect in this regards?
So, I mean, China and Vietnam have both been held up as examples for North Korea to follow. What they are really held up as are examples where the economy becomes more and more market-based as the authoritarian party at the top stays in power. And obviously that's something that North Korea would like. If we were to say, well, what would Kim Jong-un look for in Vietnam? He's interested in economic development projects. He's interested in infrastructure projects that Vietnam has pursued, even while the Communist Party has maintained power. Whether North Korea will do that or not is a separate question. North Korea is still more closed off in many ways politically than China and Vietnam were even before they started their reform process. So this is a very delicate subject for North Korea, but I think they do want to develop their economy.
All right, so 8 months ago, when Kim and Trump met for the first time, they went on an unexpected but friendly walk in Singapore, marking a paradigm shift after decades of enmity. So do you think we can expect something like that this time around, or what significance would such an event carry then?
Well, Donald Trump prides himself on being spontaneous, and sort of sometimes that means he spontaneously gives up concessions in North Korea. But I think we could expect something a little bit spontaneous here. Obviously, much of it's going to be scripted. Much of it was already planned before the summit even started. But there'll probably be some room for some sort of friendly banter or some sort of expression of trust between Kim Jong-un and Donald Trump.
Professor Justin Hastings of University of Sydney, thank you so much for your insight today.
Thank you.